Welcome back, everybody, to the deep dive. Now, today we're doing something a little different, something that's just warmed my heart all day long.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're going to be doing a deep dive into just these amazing acts of kindness that are happening all today.
I love that.
Yeah, it's like, we're getting a glimpse into the best of humanity.
Yeah, I love that.
Right. It's like, just fresh from the oven, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah,
And it's all
absolutely.
happening right now as we speak.
It is so wonderful. And in a world that sometimes can feel a little overwhelming, it's these stories that kind of restore our faith in humanity.
Yeah, it really does.
It's amazing.
All right, so let's dive into our first story. And this one takes us to the heart of New York City.
Okay.
Picture this. Pouring rain.
Oh,
A woman's caught without an umbrella,
all right.
and then a commuter steps up and offers her his only umbrella.
Wow.
He literally gets soaked himself, but doesn't even hesitate.
Oh, that's beautiful. Isn't that a beautiful thing?
Right. What strikes you about that story?
Well, I just think it's so simple yet so powerful, to just see a need and to act instinctively.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think that that's such a powerful testament to kind of the human spirit.
Yeah, it's like in that moment, compassion just took over.
Yes.
All right, story number 2. We're heading over to Seattle, where a local bakery is doing something incredibly sweet.
Oh, I love bakery stories.
I know, right?
What are they doing?
Well, they're offering free cookies to anyone feeling stressed or overwhelmed. They
Mm.
even put up a sign that says, "Need a little sweetness. It's on us."
Oh, that's so nice.
I know it's such a small gesture, but it's like,
Yeah.
not only is it a delicious treat, but it's a gesture that acknowledges the challenges people might be facing.
Absolutely.
It's like they're saying, we see you, we care, and we want to brighten your day.
I love that. Yeah. And I think they're also really showing that they understand their community, right?
Yes.
Like they get it, they understand what people are going through, and they're offering comfort in this really tangible way.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Okay, story number 3 takes us into the digital world, where a gamer on a live stream did something that really impressed me.
Oh, really? What happened?
So they noticed another player was having a tough time, and instead of ignoring it, or even worse, add to the negativity, they actually paused their game to offer encouragement.
Oh, wow.
I know, right?
What a beautiful thing to do.
I was floored when I saw that in an environment that can often be competitive and, let's face it, sometimes toxic,
Right.
this gamer chose to be kind.
That's amazing. And you know what's so great about that is that it shows that online communities,
Uh-huh.
even though they're virtual, can actually foster empathy and connection.
Mm.
And it's really beautiful to see because it shows that, there's this potential for kindness, even in these spaces that sometimes get a bad rap.
Yeah, totally. And what's even more inspiring is that other players in the chat started chiming in with messages of support, too.
Oh, I love
That's like that one act of kindness created a ripple effect.
Right.
Speaking of community, our next story comes from a small town where neighbors really stepped up for one of their own.
Oh, nice. I love a good neighbor story.
So an elderly woman was struggling with yard work,
Okay.
and a group of neighbors just showed up, tools in hand, ready to help.
Isn't that amazing?
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
No formal organization,
Yeah.
no fundraising, just a group of people coming together to support someone in need.
That's beautiful. I think that's something about, small towns sometimes that you really see that community spirit.
Yeah.
It's really lovely.
All right, this next story is special because it comes straight from one of our listeners.
Oh, nice.
They shared how their day was completely turned around by a barista.
I love that.
Yeah,
I love a good barista story.
Right. So the listener was having a terrible morning, and the barista, sensing their mood, offered them an extra shot of espresso and even wrote a little message of encouragement on their cup.
Oh,
I know, right?
that's so sweet.
Can you imagine having someone show that level of care and attention, especially when you're feeling down?
Yeah. Yeah, especially someone you don't even know.
Exactly.
It's just a reminder that, those small gestures, those little human connections can make a huge difference.
Okay. Our next story takes us to a school where a group of students decided to show their appreciation for some often overlooked members of their community.
Oh, that's nice.
So they organized a surprise thank you lunch for the school custodians,
Ah,
complete with decorations and homemade treats.
that's fantastic.
I know, I love that it's so easy to take for granted the people who work behind the scenes to keep things running smoothly.
Right.
These students really went above and beyond to express their gratitude.
Yeah, I think it's so important to to recognize those unsung heroes, right?
Mm,
The people who contribute so much to our well-being, but who we don't always necessarily, um, see or appreciate.
yeah.
So I think it's wonderful that these students took the time to do that.
Story number 7 takes us on a journey to a foreign city where tourists found themselves in a tricky situation.
Okay, what happened?
So they lost their wallet, which is stressful enough.
Yeah, that's awful.
Right.
Especially in a foreign city.
But imagine being in a foreign country with no money or identification.
It's a nightmare.
It could be a nightmare, but instead of experiencing the worst of humanity, this tourist encountered incredible kindness from a local resident.
Wow.
I know, right?
That's amazing.
So this resident went above and beyond.
Really?
Yes, they contacted the tourist bank, offered them a place to stay, and even helped them navigate the local language and customs.
Oh my goodness.
I know, it's hard to imagine someone going to such lengths for a complete stranger.
It really is, but it really highlights, I think, the universality of human kindness,
Uh-huh.
right? That despite our differences in, our language, our culture, wherever we're from, there's this willingness to help strangers in need.
It's beautiful.
And that's just something so special.
All right, story number 8 brings us back home to a local park where a group of volunteers decided to spend their day doing something amazing.
All right, I'm ready. What did they do?
They organized the cleanup effort,
Oh, no.
picking up trash, planting flowers, and just generally making the park a more beautiful place for everyone to enjoy.
It's such a simple act, but it has such a big impact.
Right?
I mean, not just on the environment, but also on the community.
Yes.
Like, it really shows that people care about their surroundings and about making it a nice place for everyone.
Yeah, it's so inspiring to see people take an initiative and contributing to the well-being of their community, especially when they're doing it simply for the joy of it.
Right, right. It's a sense of shared responsibility for the common good, which
Exactly.
is really beautiful.
I'm so glad you brought that up because it segues perfectly into our next story. This one is a reminder that even the smallest acts of kindness can make a huge difference.
Yeah, those are often the most powerful.
Okay.
What is...
So you're talking about the teenager who saw someone struggling to carry heavy groceries and immediately offered to help.
Oh, yeah, I saw that one. That was sweet.
It's such a simple act, but it speaks volumes about their character.
You know what I love about that one is that it's just so genuine, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not something they were asked to do or felt obligated to do. They just saw a need and responded.
Yes.
And I think that's just so beautiful.
And last but certainly not least, we have a story that highlights the importance of patience and understanding.
Okay, let's hear it.
This is the one with the bus driver who paused their route to help an elderly passenger disembark safely right.
Oh, that's a good one.
It would have been so easy to just open the doors and keep going, but this driver took the time to ensure the passenger was steady on their feet.
It's those little things, right? It's like seeing the need of someone else
Yeah,
and responding to it.
right. Such a small gesture, but it speaks volumes about their compassion.
And I think it's particularly important, when we're talking about people who might need extra support.
Yes.
The elderly people with disabilities, just taking that extra moment to make sure that they're safe and comfortable.
Yeah.
I think that speaks volumes
Absolutely.
about who we are as people.
Yeah, I totally agree.
I love these stories.
I know, right?
This is great.
It's just warm in my heart. It's
Yeah.
just so wonderful to see all these acts of kindness unfolding
It is.
all over the place.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It gives you hope
Yeah, it really does.
for the world
It does.
and for humanity
It does.
and for each other.
Mhm.
It's lovely. It's amazing how these stories all from today paint such a vivid picture of human kindness in action.
I know, it's like we're witnessing these little sparks of light igniting all over the place.
Yeah.
It's giving me chills.
Yeah, and what's striking is the diversity of these acts of kindness.
Right.
From a simple umbrella in the rain to a community rallying around a neighbor, it shows that compassion takes on so many forms.
It truly does. It's not about the scale of the gesture. It's about the intention behind it, that genuine desire to make someone else's day a little bit brighter.
Absolutely. And, it makes you realize that kindness is something that's accessible to everyone.
Mhm.
It doesn't require wealth status or special skills.
Right. It's a reminder that we all have the power to make a difference, no matter how small.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I want to shift gears for a moment and talk about something that's been swirling in my mind as we've been diving into these stories.
Okay.
It's the idea that kindness isn't just beneficial for the recipient. It's also incredibly rewarding for the giver.
Oh, absolutely. There's a growing body of research that shows acts of kindness actually trigger the release of endorphins and dopamine in our brains, the same chemicals associated with pleasure and happiness.
So being kind literally makes us feel good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And not only that, but studies have also shown that engaging in acts of kindness can reduce stress, boost our immune system, and even increase our lifespan.
Wow, that's incredible. It's like kindness is this secret weapon for a happier, healthier life. It is, and it's a weapon we all have access to. It's not something we need to buy, earn, or achieve. It's within each of us waiting to be unleashed.
You know, another thing that struck me about these stories is how many of them involve complete strangers helping each other out.
Yeah, you're right. Like the tourist who lost their wallet and was helped by a local resident.
Right.
It challenges the notion that we live in a world where people only care about themselves.
Yeah, it's like these acts of kindness are little cracks in the wall of cynicism, letting the light of human connection shine through.
It makes you wonder what would happen if we all made a conscious effort to be a little kinder to strangers.
Right.
What if we held the door open for someone offered a helping hand or simply smiled at the people we passed on the street?
Imagine the ripple effect that could create. Okay, I want to touch on something that's been particularly heartwarming for me, and that's the stories that highlight the power of gratitude.
You mean like the students who organized a thank you lunch for the school custodians?
Yes, it's so easy to overlook the contributions of people who work behind the scenes, but those contributions are so vital to our everyday lives. Taking the time to acknowledge and appreciate them can make such a difference.
Absolutely. Gratitude isn't just a polite gesture, it's a powerful force that strengthens relationships and fosters a sense of community.
Mhm.
And what's beautiful is that expressing gratitude doesn't have to be complicated or expensive. A simple thank you delivered with sincerity can go a long way.
Absolutely. Okay, before we wrap up, I want to go back to something we touched on earlier, the idea that kindness is contagious.
Oh, it's so true.
Right.
When we witness an act of kindness, it inspires us to be more compassionate ourselves. It's like this beautiful chain reaction of positive energy.
And I think that's a key takeaway from today's deep dive as we go about our lives. Let's be mindful of the opportunities to spread kindness, not only through our own actions, but also by sharing stories of compassion and inspiring others to join the movement.
Because ultimately, kindness is about connection. It's about recognizing our shared humanity and understanding that we're all in this together.
As we've been exploring these stories, I keep coming back to the idea of presence.
Hmm.
It seems like so many of these acts of kindness stem from simply being present in the moment
Right.
and noticing the needs of those around us.
That's such a great point. It's about tuning in to the subtle cues, the unspoken needs, the moments where a little bit of kindness can make all the difference.
It's like we get so caught up in our own busy lives, our to-do lists, our screens, that we forget to look up and see the people around us.
Right, we're so in our own heads
Yeah.
that we forget to actually be present in the world and see what's going on around us.
And yet when we do pause, when we make eye contact, when we offer a genuine smile, it creates connection that can be incredibly powerful.
It is powerful. It's like that moment of recognition, right?
Yes.
Of seeing another human being and acknowledging their existence.
Thinking back to the story of the barista who noticed the listener's bad morning and went above and beyond, it makes me wonder if those micro moments of connection are becoming even more precious in our fast-paced world.
It's an interesting question. I think in a world that's increasingly digital, where we're constantly bombarded with information and stimulation, I think those real life moments of human touch and empathy become even more valuable.
Yeah, because it's like those acts of kindness remind us that we're not alone, that even in the midst of chaos and busyness, there's still a sense of community and shared humanity.
Exactly. And it brings to mind the idea that kindness doesn't have to be this grand, heroic act.
Right.
It can be as simple as holding the door open for someone, offering a listening ear, sending a text to a friend who might be struggling.
Yeah, it's those small everyday gestures that weave the fabric of a compassionate society.
Right.
It's about creating a culture where kindness is the norm, not the exception.
I love that idea. A world where we all feel empowered to extend kindness to others, knowing that those acts, no matter how small, can create a ripple effect of positivity.
It's like we're all part of this intricate web of human connection, and every act of kindness strengthens the threads that bind us together.
And what's amazing is that kindness is often reciprocal, right?
Yes.
When we put kindness out into the world, it has a way of coming back to us sometimes in the most unexpected and delightful ways.
It's like a boomerang of positivity.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into today's incredible stories of kindness, I want to challenge our listeners to find those moments in their own lives where they can make a difference.
Yes. What small act of compassion can you extend to someone today? How can you be a source of light and hope in your community?
Remember, even the smallest gesture can have a profound impact.
It really can.
So let's all commit to making kindness a daily practice, a way of life, and let's watch the magic unfold.
This has been The Deep Dive. Thanks for joining us.